everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. On this, what is today? The 5th day of February. We've got the Super Bowl coming up this week. I'm going to give you my prediction. Hopefully, the Mad New Yorker will show up. He hasn't came in yet, but he usually comes in right about this time. Talk about the Super Bowl pick here. Breakdown of the game and the pick. So, a little bit of disappointing in the last day of the NBA trade deadline. Giannis, he stays. He's got that calf strain. And I think that, and quite frankly, I don't believe they simply got enough offers, look like what I'm hearing and reading, to make that deal. I still think he probably may get moved. Ja Morant stays in Memphis. I was really surprised by that. But either way, be back here momentarily. We'll take our first and only break. Hopefully the Mad New Yorker will be back, and I'll run some things by him that I was talking about on last night's program and, of course, the big stories of the week. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break and be back here momentarily and hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then. Looks like we've got the Mad New Yorker backstage here. Come on, welcome. All righty then. Hey, listen, I didn't send you this, but, I was thinking since it is the last day, the trade deadline ended today. It seems like to me they keep pushing it up every year a little bit sooner. But I guess it makes sense because they've got the All-Star break will be sometime next week or whatever. You're a Knicks fan. You're the Mad New Yorker. Are you okay with the Knicks not making any moves? They seem they've been playing pretty hot here lately. What's your thoughts about that, man?
I think they didn't want to handicap themselves with big deals, so that they can make a bigger deal towards the end of the season. So
you mean towards the postseason? Because they can't do anything after this season,
right?
In the regular season, excuse me.
Right. So I'm talking about so when the season ends, making a move for. Well, I mean, the Giannis thing is something that they've been trying to organize and see what they could do, and it's a money thing, right? You don't want to give up picks or too much money.
Yeah.
If you can make a bigger and better move. So, I think Giannis was one of the players that they were mostly talking about. Even Anthony Davis, possible trade for him. He ends up moving to another team. Yesterday,
he'd have been a lot more excited going to New York instead of Washington, right?
Yeah, I mean, so, but some of these teams making sideways moves to prevent injuries or injury-prone players like Porzingis moving, players like that. So, yeah. But the Knicks are in their position and where they're at is kind of an anomaly as far as it's more of the players on the court than it is anything that the coach can do, right? So there's been talk here in New York about the sentiment that a lot of players have because Brunson's dad's on the coaching staff, and you could see that it's one of those dynamics that's not proportional or even balanced because Coach Brown says one thing, and then you see Brunson and his dad on the side talking, and you're like,
is that the buzz up there that there's some kind of dysfunction?
Right. And so then there's this whole idea that, well, 3/4 of the guys on the team played together in college, so they know each other. And then, so there's just this whole,
dynamic
that was what was I don't understand what the ownership and the coaching staff was gonna expect from anyways, because these you have guys that played in college together and they're not in college anymore. Now they're grown men.
Oh
So
yeah,
like everybody's like, well, they play together. They have this, they're in sync. Like, no, that doesn't whether they play together in the past or not, it helps, but it's not gonna move you up to the next level in the NBA, because the problem is that if you play well together, but the people you play are playing better than your team, how do you get better? Right?
yeah.
Like,
So,
if
what's your
everybody,
thoughts on this squad right now? I mean, are they an Eastern Conference? Are they an NBA Finals team?
they are
Can they win the East this year?
they're highly competitive and they'll be in the mix to try to win the East, but I feel like they added more age to the group, so they're not as quick, and so that's gonna be something that will affect them in the playoffs. And I'm not sure if they will be in the finals of the Eastern Conference. So some of these teams are doing and playing well and better, and even with guys that are hurt, like the Celtics. Brown is holding up that team with they're missing their start.
Out, I don't know if Tatum's going to come back or not. I mean, there is speculation he might come back, right?
Yeah, but even Brown is playing like an MVP season without Tatum. Without Tatum being there. And then you had Detroit. They made a few moves to lock up their defense, because that's something that they were lacking. And so it's not going to be. It's going to be
one seed. That's going to be interesting to see how they play out against Detroit.
Because right now New York is in third, and so I think
they're probably third. I thought they were the second seed. Did they drop back down again?
Well,
I know it's a nail biter.
Yeah, it's like between two teams right now for second and third. But listen, it's going to be
a 2 seed. Yeah, and Boston's a 3.
Boston's in 3, right.
But they're tied technically. But I guess New York has some kind of tiebreaker on them, and they've won 8 straight. I felt like they should have tried to find a way to move Towns and size that defense up. But you know what? I'm not too mad at any general manager not wanting to pick up Giannis with that calf injury, and the fact that he's been injured in the playoffs the last few years. He is a big, so I'm not upset about that. But I'm like you. It's really. I like Towns a lot, but he's on and off on the defensive side.
Right. Man. So my thing was this, and I talked to another person about this. Is the thing with having Towns on your team is like, even if he starts, he should play him like the first or second quarter, and definitely in the fourth quarter. He's not young to be running up and down the court for 3 quarters in a row.
You want to put Mitchell Robertson in instead and help him out defensively?
Find the field that Towns has that day. If you see that when he starts off, he's going off, play him the first quarter, send him the second, bring him back in the fourth. Give him that much rest, because he's not. Again, he doesn't have the speed he used to have. He can start getting the field to just start tossing up threes. And he's not a bad 3-point shooter, but then you want there to be movement, right? You want to get the other team tired. You want to go up and down with the team. So he's not, him being on the court doesn't allow you to spread the court more. It becomes condensed. So, Towns is not a bad player, but you have to use him for what he's good for. And you can't just be like, oh, his contract says he has to play 3 quarters of the game. He's going to play 3 quarters of the game. No, he doesn't have the stamina for that. And you could tell, they have him. They took him out the fourth quarter against the Lakers. This is against the Lakers. And he was okay. Like, they didn't need him to win the game. But sometimes they're going to be games.
They were I watched a big chunk of that game. And that's the first time I've had to really put a lot of time into watching them this year. And, they were down a good chunk of that game. And if what you're saying is true, I have to go back and look at the box score. They may have found something there. That was a good test to them. I know the Lakers aren't great this year, but Lakers are a formidable playoff team.
Very formidable.
Yeah, they're formidable, man. But they took it. Here's an interesting stat here. They both took 42 threes, and your Knicks hit 6 more threes. then the Lakers they come back and win the game. I just don't know. That's hard to sustain that.
Right.
But that's the league we live in. But you see in the playoffs here lately, in the playoffs, it's more about the mid-range game, you know?
And the thing that Towns has both the inside and the mid-range, and you don't want him worn out when he's on the court, right? You want him to be, you want
to manage his. How do you think Mike Brown is figuring this out so far?
I just think right now he's doing playing every game out and just trying to find a way to make sure that the system that they're running, the team that they're running, the people that are given, the scorers getting scores, and the people who are setting up, but try to get everybody on a rhythm. Because Brown's not a bad coach. He just the problem is that he gets stuck when you start depending on a player, right? When he gets that number 1 star or 2 star that he's dependent on, and they get injured or they're tired, then you can't, you got to start going deeper in the bench. So I like that he uses a lot of these guys, and so the Knicks. I'm not sure you could have added 2 players or 3 players or even 1 player and lost depth in something else on your bench and on your team. And I think that's
you're okay with them not making a move.
Yeah, I mean, play it out, see what you got. You won 1 championship. It doesn't mean much, but you did get something out of this season, and just
they did win that tournament, didn't they?
Yeah. So they hey,
man, if you're a Knicks fan, you got to take what you can get. First actual championship in 72.
I mean, I'm not ecstatic, but it's just something to build from.
I totally forgot about that.
It's something to build on because it's the first year coach. The team, the team was already on as a high rated team, and I felt kind of betrayed that they got older instead of stayed young, and even got a player like Kuminga. Now even Kuminga's leaving Golden State. He could have been on the Knicks. He would have been a solid player in the Knicks, but. And I'm high on him as somebody that's on the up, and has got a lot of he's got a lot of he could do more with a different coach, right? So but I don't know. It's
speaking of Anthony Davis, we talked about that. He was traded yesterday, man, and my thing is that this whole thing turned out to be a win-win for everybody. The fact that trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers like that was a wake-up call for him to come in to the league out of shape. He looks great this year. He looks like a real NBA superstar rather than a guy that's kind of heavy that's playing around here, despite the success he had the year before last. And the Mavericks, they get their star. I mean, look at Cooper Flagg. I mean, he set records for a teenager. You say, well, what about Anthony Davis? Well, Anthony Davis has got another year left, and he can go anywhere he wants. And as a total, he's got a player option, And I said yesterday he could work out for everybody, but Nico Harrison, who lost his job in this per se. But I think he'll bounce back in a sense. He made some good moves, but now you've got a young core to build around there. I'm not in love with that particular trade, but they got his contract off their books.
Right.
And they got more draft picks. I'm talking about the Mavericks in that. And the Wizards, who knows what the heck the Wizards are doing. They'll eventually be good because they're so bad, they're going to end up getting so many good draft picks. What's your thoughts about that and how that played out?
I just feel like it was you went from being a very competitive team in Dallas to very formidable competition to now you just have a team that's rebuilding again. And I don't think the fans were ready for that. Even with Cooper Flagg, right now this season, you're just going to give him minutes and he's just going to get points and he's just going to get experience, but you're not going to be in the playoff.
No.
And that's, then what is all the moves made that just to get Cooper Flagg? You might think that
it took a risk and it didn't pay off, but I'm just saying it all worked out good. Which
money wise,
they got obviously there's a little luck involved landing Flagg and getting that number 1 pick, but it's not like they're going to be in the toilet because they made a bad move by moving Luka. That was my whole point.
Right. I mean, business wise, contract wise, the teams are going to be okay. But if I'm a Dallas fan and I'm looking at the season, I'm like, man, what's going on over here? Like tonight they're going to play San Antonio and they're going to get blown out of the water. Like San Antonio's like
it's going to be an interesting team. I'm going to see how well they do in the playoffs, man. They're the 2 seed. I think they've beat Oklahoma City every single time they played them.
right,
But I don't know if they match up like that with everybody. We know that, by the way, it's another good win, though, by your Knicks that won in overtime last night against Denver. But I think Denver will be better once the Joker plays himself back into shape. He's coming with that knee brace on.
I just,
you know,
all I know is that when you make those big moves, you're hoping to at least be in contention of a playoff or an opportunity to get. And Dallas won't this season, and that's not to say it's not a good deal, but it's if you're a fan, that's why you're watching the game, for them to win, and you want to see Cooper Flag scoring. If he scores 60 points a game, that at the end of the day, I feel like that's the new NBA. Everybody's happy. He's a high scorer, but you're not going to be in any kind of playoff run. Like, that's not what you want. Like, now Wemby, they got, people from
3 years in. Remember Wemby's first 2 years, nothing.
Right.
No playoffs for the Spurs.
Right, but now the Spurs got 2 players that are deep, that helped their bench and gotten a little bit deep, and now they're formidable and competitive, and they'll be in the playoffs, right? So, the West is going to be ultra competitive, man. It's going to be
it'll be fun, man.
Yeah, I think the championship winner will come out from the West, maybe. So this year,
I mean, Houston's going to be good. The Spurs, Denver, OKC. Right now, I think maybe OKC will probably end up getting in there, but who knows? I mean, the Spurs. I don't know how they're going to match up with other teams. I know they match up really well with OKC.
Right.
It obviously we haven't had the All-Star break. We still got a ways to go. What's your thoughts about, let's see, oh God, what is his name? Aaron Glenn hiring Frank Wright as the offensive coordinator. That just feels like, man, are they done already before they get started or what?
I'm not sure. There's also this talk about Wink coming over here, and there was a deal
that would pump some life if you
there was a deal that was mishandled, and there's a lot of talk here in New York about the Jets and the media, and it's hard to just try to piece it together to see who's telling the truth and what's going on.
But I feel like actually gets done.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the New York Jets right now. I feel like until they get rid of that ownership, they're not going to have any continuity. They're not going to have any balance. They're not going to get anything going, and it puts the onus and the negativity on Glenn and also on Frank Wright. These 2 guys are actually top-notch coaches in their and they've had their own personal careers. And I just feel like, I hope maybe these 2 are smart enough to create something and get the Jets out of where they're at and just make a new kind of culture, a new place, football, a better place for football. Because if they don't do it for themselves, the owner, the guys on the team, I don't think it's going to help, to be honest with you. I mean, with the GM, I'm not, it was supposed to be a positive move and have Aaron Glenn there, and it just, maybe I feel like the best thing for the situation now is to stay out of media as much as possible.
Yeah.
Get your draft, focus on the draft now. You have your coordinators, and just stay out of the media, man. Stop. You don't have to answer them, man. And New York is the worst media to motivate and to put up and try to carry some of these coaches and players to better themselves in any way, man. It's just always negative here in New York. So stay out of the media, and you'll be okay. Because
New York and Philadelphia this week fired a long-time offensive line coach, and that's actually got a buzz. Philadelphia is interesting. I didn't bring Jamie Paggs back on and see what he thinks about that particular move and what's going on with their new offensive coordinator as well, bringing in this super young guy from the Green Bay Packers.
Right, and I think that was a good move for them. But again, like I said, stay out of the media. Whenever they ask you questions, just keep it basic and simple. What is already announced, right? I got such and such nose tackle. I got a guardman, or this is his school, and this is what we expect of him. And then
is that an issue? Is that an issue with Glenn also? Is he talking too much to the media?
I just think that they're trying to get at him. And as much as information he has, he also has feelings. And he's trying to just be different. And I think the best and the only thing to do to be different in New York is just to stay out of media, just to be quiet. Be like, I have my press release. This is where we're going at. Like every time the Jets say something, they get caught up in what was said, how it was said, and then it just becomes rumbling, and then it just doesn't get out. The same thing. The thing, for instance, a good example. Well, when the rookie lineman that they had, he was overweight. He might not make he might be a terrible pick. This and that. There was on this kid so bad. He left the team and did better. I forget his name.
This was Aaron Glenn?
No, this is before Aaron Glenn. But what I'm saying is
you can't hold that against Glenn then.
No, but I'm saying that's what the media did. So something with the B.
It wasn't Mekhi Becton, was it?
Mekhi Becton.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. So when he left, he ended up being greener pastures for him. When Darno left, it ended up being greener pastures for them. When some of these guys leave, it ends up being better for them. It's like if he's a new coach now. Well, he was last year, but this is
Darnold in the Super Bowl. He's doing
all
right.
This is the second year. This is a second-year coach, and the one thing he should just look back on the year and be like, I need to get a press guy, or I need my press guy, and I'm just going to release little tidbits, and that's it. Try to stay out of the media, try to focus in on your players, and guide your players on how to be better football players in New York, because he has the experience, right? He's been here before. He played as a Jet, so he should focus his energy. He should focus his energy on the team that he has and the team he's gonna have, and just make them focus on football. I know I'm part of the media now, talking on a podcast, but you don't want knuckleheads coming in and be like, hey, you guys hadn't got any interceptions and blah blah. He knows that.
Well, and he did fire everybody. I talked about it last week.
Yeah.
If he could bring in Wink Martindale, the right thing won't look as bad. They're going to have to make a big move at quarterback. I don't think they're going to draft Ty Simpson with the number 2 pick. I doubt that. But if they don't, they need to possibly make them, for one thing, like you said, go out and get Wink Martindale, get that defense sized up. And then for another thing, make a move and go out and get a Mac Jones or somebody. We saw the potential of Mac Jones with the 49ers this year. They're going to have to make a big move at quarterback for him to save his job. If it's me, and it looks like he really wants to keep this job by letting all these people go, I do that. That is first and foremost. Yeah, and I think they got a year left on Justin Fields, and I don't know if you could dump Fields or not. If somebody offers you something, great. If not, just let him compete for the job. But you're going to get Mac Jones and get till Mac Jones can play, right?
Yeah, and I feel like if I was the coach and I'm telling my GM I'm going to need a quarterback, the best move they did was bring in a guy like Frank Reich. Man, he's if anybody.
But I was hoping they would get a more of a flashier.
Yeah, but
maybe get a Kingsbury, somebody like that.
You don't have a quarterback, so you can't have flashy plays, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
when you got somebody like Justin Fields, it's hard to sell that to a bigger time, offensive coordinator. So I understand that. Totally
my thing is this: like, I don't know if the ownership wants Fields anyways. So he got the foot halfway out the door.
They may just move off of him. They may try to cut him or something. I'll have to look in his contract.
Yeah, I would.
Only 2 years anyways, and he's already got one disastrous year done. So, and I like Fields. I mean, He's got really strong arm strength, very good athlete. He just can't make those reads right now. And he's just being a slower developer. He may be a star, like a Sam Darnold. But right now, you can't win with no Justin Fields, man.
Yeah, and the problem again is New York. Being in New York, like the pressure of having to win or wanting to win.
Young there.
It's like
it's his second stint. I was ranking these head coaches yesterday from first to worst. I don't want you have to rank all of them, but not unless you want to. My thing is, man, who would you consider to be? And I sent you this in a text message. All the names, they've all been filled. Who is your least favorite coach? What's the worst hire and the worst situation that you could see? What's the first guy that you're going to look at and say maybe a year or two from now, this guy's going to get fired first? Of all these coaches, 10 coaches, that's a lot.
10 coaches, I think the youngest one, right? I'll go with the youngest one because as much as experience that he has, he got to find a quarterback in Arizona. I think
that was funny. You mentioned that. That was, I don't know if you watched the program. That was my number 10 too. I think this, plus you look at Kyler Murray and you look at that crappy owner. Yeah, I think Mike LaFleur is the worst hire and probably the first to get fired.
Yeah. No, like here's the thing, and I'm not too keen on the LaFleur family. The experience that he had in the Jets, and I'm not going to say that. And when he went to the Rams and he was hooked back up with his old mate over there, I'm not going to say he's a bad or terrible person. I can't say that. I'm not saying that he don't have no football knowledge, but what I can say is that Arizona's inconsistency in the ownership, the inconsistency in being able to help the quarterback in their offense is going to probably be the downfall for him because he's an offensive-minded guy. It has nothing to do with is he a coach that can be productive? No, he is a coach that could be productive, but everything has to be going his way. Like he doesn't make good players better. He makes great players great. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't even know I don't think anybody. Yeah, the Rams had the number one offense, but Sean McVay is probably the engine there. But then again, Kevin O'Connell was a good hire, so it's a maybe. He could be a star there.
Wait, Robert.
They're going to do something with Kyler Murray, and I don't know what it is going to be.
Question here, Robert. He had another quarterback. McVay had another quarterback and realized that guy wasn't in, and he shipped him out of town.
He shipped out Jared Goff out of town.
Right. And that was apparently at that time he was one of the top best picks, had the best potential, had a great arm, whatever. And he shipped that guy out of town. And he went with the older guy and
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford. Right?
Yeah.
So he went with the older guy who consistently, no matter what, the guy's he's a baller, man. I'll give him that. Stafford is one of the he's gonna be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
They're like 2 plays away from potentially being here.
Even McVay couldn't make a good quarterback better. He made a great quarterback great. Do you get what I'm saying? So you can't.
I don't know if you would consider Matt Stafford great before he went to the LA Rams.
No. Again,
Rob Parker with Fox Sports called him Stat Pafford at Detroit.
So
he padded his stats. And
he didn't pad his. You know what? When you don't win games because you have a defensive fault, and you're calling a guy who's packing stats, that means that you had a great quarterback with a terrible defense. That's what that means.
Found that out now. And you know what? I wasn't totally disagreeing with that guy, Rob, when he said that. So he proved me wrong. He's better than I thought he would be. I thought he may have had some lingering injuries when he took that job with the Rams, and I didn't think they was going to win, but they did. And the rest is history.
So now this year, LaFleur is coming from the Rams, who had Puka, Stafford,
Devontae Adams,
and Adams. Just those 3 guys.
Pass rush and a pretty good offensive line,
right?
Too.
So he had good good to great players and made them great and competitive and formidable and almost a Super Bowl team, almost.
Yeah.
Right? You think this guy LaFleur is going to go to an honest, an unstable location like Arizona?
Yeah, organization. Yeah,
like Arizona, you got you got a quarterback that has potential, but might not stay.
Season, yeah,
right, but might not stay. You don't know your offense. You got wide receivers that come and go, right? You don't pay. You're not paying your. So if I'm him, if I'm LaFleur, I'm be like this. This is my first day before I even got hired. Ownership. I need 3 things. I need you to step away from football. I need you to give me your wallet, and I need you to trust my plan. And it's a 3-year plan. And if I can't be on my 3rd season, if I can't get 10 wins, then you can fire me. Because I can't get 10 wins, I don't want to be there.
They need to go after Mac Jones, but the problem is, I'm sure that they're not going to go after Mac. I mean, I think I want to say the 49ers still got Mac Jones's rights. They're not going to trade him to a division foe like that. Are you crazy?
But you think even with Mac Jones as a quarterback, you think that there'll be a 10-win game?
Oh yeah, he's still under contract. Runs through 2026 season. Yeah, if I'm your Jets or somebody, I make a run. Somebody's going to make a run at Mac Jones. That's going to be an interesting storyline when the offseason starts on Monday. But technically, we'll start hearing stuff. Technically, it starts in March, but when the free agency starts. So who would be your best hire? Who would you rank number 1? That's your number 10. We totally agree, 110%. Who would be your number 1 hire there in this cycle out of those 10 coaches?
Here's the thing. Out of this cycle, out of those 10 coaches, and it will actually be in the playoffs, it's going to be Todd Monken.
Wow. Okay. You shocked me there, man. Why is that?
Especially because he has a team, defense, and he has an offense there, and he just got to tweak a few things, and he can turn any quarterback. He gives them motivation. He gives them the ability to be the best quarterback that they can be, and that's going to help that team like score points. Right? Yeah. He's going to score 21 plus points a game, no matter what quarterback you give him. Right? He's either going to find out that the quarterback got skills, and he's going to use that quarterback. The quarterback whoever he picks, if that quarterback doesn't have skills, he's going to have a running game, a small something to make sure that they're scoring points. And the defense right now, the defense is pretty much almost taken care of.
You think he's going to make it work with Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel?
I think Shedeur for sure. I think Shedeur for sure can play easy offense. Like I don't think he's ever had any problems playing an easy, written out offense, and I think Monken will help Shedeur in that sense. They're going to score more than 17 points a game, and his goal is to score 24 points a game. Monken that's always been his forte. So the reason I say this is because the division they're in and the other teams around them will actually make Cleveland an easier road as well, right? Pittsburgh's, I don't think you're going to get that best out of.
Yeah, not unless they do even if they do the overhaul, then they'll take a step back. But what about Cincinnati? What if they luck up on some draft picks and their defense comes back?
I don't. Cincinnati just all Monken has to do is score one more touchdown than Joe Burrow, and if an offense that he designs could probably do that in that capacity.
Did they beat them at the end of the season?
Cincinnati beat
somebody at the end of the season. I'm surprised.
Yeah, so
I know they end up beating Pittsburgh.
And the thing with Minter, I think it's going to take him 2 or 3 seasons for Baltimore to get into the group of things.
Okay.
So I don't think just because you have a top-rated quarterback in the NFL essentially makes it an easier road for you to go into the playoffs and actually win. And now that you have these new coaches in, this is something different now that the players have to go in and get on the same page and get on the routine and get, so that's why I think the easiest and best place and route for a playoff team to come out of and the best coach hire is Cleveland.
Wow. Okay, I'll clip that, man. Mine was your Giants with Harbaugh. What's your thoughts about that? They hired Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator, former Chiefs coordinator, and of course former Bears head coach.
Yeah, so Matt Nagy doesn't have a good. He doesn't really have a good record with quarterbacks, in a sense where, and even in Chicago with the three quarterbacks he had, their ratings were under 60. So I don't
They
think.
got to the playoffs twice with Trubisky, a backup, man.
Yeah, with Trubisky, yeah, but their defense was actually better. Their defense gave their offense more opportunities than their offense would actually score with Trubisky uh, in those years. So I call that a wash. But coming to New York, I feel like you're gonna have this
Like
happen.
Nagy working with John Harbaugh.
I just think I think it's just. I've never. I'm don't quote me on this, but I don't think Nagy's ever been on a team to score more than 17 plus points that didn't have a Pat Mahomes on. Now, saying that, I don't feel like Jackson Dart's anywhere near a Pat Mahomes. He's Jackson Dart, and by me saying that, I don't want to take anything away from the kid. He's got upsides, but but that potential needs to be met. I don't think that this is the right quarterback coach / coordinator to mentor him. To be honest with you, and the best thing the Giants have right now is that they have a true number one running back, a true number two running back, a true number one wide receiver, and a quarterback that you can get anything from any given day. Let's just hope it's a good day, right? So, but how are you going to bring him up? And the development factor there is to me, not just X's and O's, man. It's the development. So, and I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure he's, had players that, believe him, but I don't feel like he's built up those quarterbacks in the past. I think he just runs the X and O's,
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I think Dart's a really good player. I'm not in love with Denard Wilson, the former Titans defensive coordinator, being their defensive coordinator, but I'm sure that John Harbaugh is going to put a staff around the young coordinator there to really make that team good as far as their defensive line is concerned with Burns. And we saw, what's the guy's name? The first round pick, the third overall pick, start to come into his own at the very end of the season there with Thibodeau, although I think they may move off Thibodeau.
Yeah, I might move off of Thibodeau.
Yeah.
But here's another thing about Nagy. And I'm not trying to be negative.
Abdul Carter. Remember, he got in a little trouble at the beginning.
Yeah, for not listening at the.
Yeah, got to look a little sluggish, and then he got it together towards the end.
He was a knucklehead in practice. No, here's the thing about Nagy, real quick.
Yeah,
the longer he was with Kansas City, the less and less they were scoring more than 20 points plus.
Yeah, but
and that matters because that means he's playing. Him and Reed were making play calls, and they couldn't get the ball. They were one of the biggest issues they had with third down conversions, and that became the Achilles heel for them this past season. And then of course Mahomes gets hurt, so that didn't help either. But they weren't an explosive offense, and they were not scary at all. So
yeah, but when they brought back Eric Bieniemy, when
they had Bieniemy, they actually scored more points, had a better running game, and played better. The wide receivers had better routes, and they were more wide receivers. It wasn't even like a wide receiver. They had like every wide receiver was used. So
yeah, I think that those two guys coached together. And Andy Reid is looking at this and saying, because I think Andy Reid's just calling the shots there in Kansas City. And the reason why they didn't have success is because they lost two offensive linemen, multiple offensive linemen. One big-time offensive lineman went to the Bears, Joe Thuney, because they couldn't afford him because they're paying Mahomes so much money. Not mention the fact that Rashid Rice has been suspended and hurt and all that. And then Travis Kelce, I mean, people talk, well, he did this and that, but Travis Kelce has been way past his prime. It's just the thing about the money. If Andy Reid really felt like it was the offensive coordinator that was doing that was really the problem, he wouldn't have brought back Bieniemy. He would have went outside the box. But because he's really running the show there, Andy Reid's kind of like Belichick, where he was just running the defense with the Patriots there. I don't think that's an issue at all. But Nagy, yeah, I wish they would have probably went with a Kingsbury or somebody else. I don't know. But that being said, that's a good hire, man. I think that's a good hire for and of course John Harbaugh. I mean, he don't really make too many bad moves when it comes to something. He's going to really put some lifeblood into that team, man. And there's a talent's already in place. That's a number one hire for me. I think they're probably going to be a playoff team next year. I had number 2 is Tennessee taking the ball and Saleh. I think they have they should expect to go to the playoffs. I'm not predicting them to go to the playoffs. But when I look at the Giants right now, I think they will find a way to make it to the playoffs.
Ooh, really?
I think the Tennessee Titans have a potential team that could make it to the playoffs. Look at the Patriots. They got a new coach. They got a new coordinator, of course. They had the 4 pick. They had like a 3-13 overall record. Now they're in the freaking Super Bowl. You know, I don't say Tennessee will go to the Super Bowl, but I think Tennessee, it wouldn't be out of question to say, yeah, they can win 9-10 games. You know, I'm sure the over and under is going to be like 5, but that's better than 3. You know,
well, I see the Titans and the Giants in the draft again next year for sure.
You think they'll be drafted in the top 5 again next year?
No, they'll be in the lower. They'll be in the top 10. They'll be in the bottom.
Oh, wow.
They'll be 10-9 because they're going to win at least 7 or 8 games. They're not going to go more than that.
Well, if they do that, then they're in the playoff hunt then.
No.
I mean, you can get to the playoffs of 9, 10 games in some cases.
They're going to be in the 7-8. They're going to be in the 7-8. Yeah. And the reason why these two teams are in very competitive divisions now. Washington's not going to be the same team. And
who's to say the Eagles might not fall off?
That's I don't think they'll
get rid of AJ Brown. That's just a big combustible. That's just ready to explode there.
I still think that they'll be competitive. I still think that between Eagles, Commanders, and Dallas they'll be more competitive and more likely to be in the playoffs. We have
no idea what's going to happen to the Commanders' new offensive coordinator.
But again, they have a quarterback there that the up potential, and that quarterback makes all their players better.
Yeah, and Dallas, they're very.
Dallas has an MVP. Dallas, like it or not, Prescott's an MVP caliber player every year.
MVP money too,
right?
60-something $million.
I hate to talk about the Cowboys being better than the Giants ever, but the last 3 seasons
they beat them last game of the season, and Cowboys are going all out to win that game. You know,
so I mean, again, I don't. And I like the Titans
win the East next year.
But the only problem with the Titans are in a division that's going to be the new SEC of the South.
That's true. Titans are going to have to be survival of the fittest when it comes to that.
They would definitely have
the Titans and the Giants.
Yeah, they would definitely have to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars at least once, the Texans at least once, and the Colts at least once.
Yeah.
You know, and then win out the rest of the league, the other leagues that they play, the other divisions that they play. And I'm not sure if that's, even if Saleh regroups his defense, and even if this offense Dabo puts together scores an average of 18, 20 points a game, I'm not sure if that's enough, right? So
yeah, I mean, you never know, man. A lot of stuff looks like dire straits, and then when the season comes along, okay, well, they got this guy's injured, that guy's injured,
right?
Red hot, they end up winning games that you don't think they're going to win. But we shall see, my friend. We shall see Awuku Saki. Okay. Man, Robert Kraft did not get into the Hall of Fame. So now there was some speculation. Remember this time last week, are they trying to work with Kraft and stick it to Belichick? because Kraft's done a lot for the league, blah, blah, blah. And now the narrative seems to be, and I don't see why it's not, that the writers really have an issue with the Patriots, with their scandals. Is there some envy there? Was there a lot of Patriot fatigue over the years? It feels very personal that Kraft did not get into the just a bunch of nonsense. He didn't get into the Hall of Fame. Jerry Jones, less Super Bowl rings, he's already in the Hall of Fame. What do you think about that?
Just a bunch of nonsense. These writers too, they, like I said, and we mentioned last week, they should be capped after a certain age, and just make sure that there's always a fresh look and perspective. Also,
cap the writers.
Yeah, because here's the thing: as they get older,
not talking about busting the cap in the writers. You're just saying cap the writers, okay?
Yeah,
not like putting them down or anything,
No, the age, because
just messing with you, man.
The writers and the voters, because the thing is that as they progress and get older, football is changing as well. So what they want to see as an all-star, superstar, Hall of Fame player, pretty much is not the same that we see on the field, right? So it should be, but the dynamics change, the game changes, and the perception needs to change with that. So I'm not saying that everybody who's on the, who can vote is terrible, but I am saying that they're doing terrible by not, for what we see, what we want, even as fans, we would appreciate a Belichick and even the ownership of Robert Kraft going in first, or even someone like Eli Manning, right? Because that's what we appreciate.
Yeah, I don't like Roger Craig. I've been watching a lot of his highlights. He got in, but man, Belichick is considered the best, and Robert Kraft, he's the guy that put up the money and bought this organization, and he's
right. If you're talking about setting standards, if you're talking about being the team to beat, or being a team that is the best, what do you do? What are the writers and what are these voters doing? Like, you and I could do a better job, like with our eyes closed, picking players.
Right.
And I feel if you feel like that as a fan, which I'm a fan, and you feel like that as someone in the media, which we're kind of in the media.
I am in the media. Straight up.
So,
I'm also a fan of the game. I think
if we feel like that, and that's the outcry, and that's the outrage.
Yeah,
you should be embarrassed, because what happens is you're taking the nuance of what it takes, the credibility of what it takes to be in the Hall of Fame from former players who actually played the game. All you did was watch it. All you did was write about it.
It feels very personal and petty. It feels petty.
So it's like, so that's why the
fact that they won those Super Bowls after those scandals, when they had the eagle eye on them, and they still won.
Like, I don't
multiple Super Bowls.
I don't know what the requirements. I'm not sure what the full requirements are to be a voter for the Hall of Fame, but I do believe that Goodell, the Players Association, and the media, the AP, all need to sit down together, even while they're probably going to have another strike anyways. Even though they're probably going to do
that lockout, ain't you?
Yeah, they should just all get together and piece this out and be like, this is what the requirements are to be a Hall of Fame voter. That's it. Because I don't like to hear. I hate to hear this. This shouldn't be in the news. There shouldn't be nothing. There shouldn't be anything negative about a person who spent their whole life playing football, doing the best they could on the field, not maybe being the greatest person in the world off the field, but if they put it on the field and left it there, and then you guys, some scummy guy is like, well, I didn't like what he did for New England, or I didn't like the owner, I didn't like it, to say that you don't deserve something, man. Come on.
It's annoying.
And then we gotta as fans, we gotta wait another year or wait to hear the bad news. Come on, man. That don't make no sense.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl, man. I like to give us plenty of time to give analysis on the Super Bowl, man. I didn't want to just leave us, rushing through.
We can do a Super Bowl show if you want. We can do a pregame show if you want.
Do a pregame? No, I'll be working a little bit. I got to make up for all those snowy days in Uber.
Oh, jeez. And did you lose electricity, by the way?
I did lose it for a few hours, but it came back on. Some of my friends from work lost electricity 3 to 5 days in some places.
Yeah.
They have a lot of trees down here. We had a lot of electricity out for a long time, several thousand, 250,000 people at one time.
Yeah.
It's been a mess, man. But man,
I'm
all
praying
that,
for you guys.
huh?
I'm praying for you guys. I
Yeah,
know
thank you, dude. Thank
even
you.
my sister, she lost for a week. She had no electricity.
Oh,
So.
she lived out in Donaldson area in Nashville.
Yeah, remember she's down there
Yeah.
by near the airport. But again, she wasn't there. She luckily she had a trip out of town, so she wasn't there for a week. So
Oh, nice. But she had to throw out food. You could tell her that she may have already know this, but if you lost electricity more than 24 hours, you're eligible for a $700 FEMA payment. So she should take that up with FEMA. The lady at work told me that because mine was out for a few hours, and I was asking her about it, and I was like, shoot. All right, well, get me some new food there. But mine came back on. It's all good. But anyways, do you want to give your analysis of the Super Bowl first? Or do you want me to give my analysis of the Super Bowl first?
we could go back and forth. Let's start with.
I'll tell you what.
Let's go with the defense. Start defense.
Yeah. Now, the Super Bowl, both teams, defensive against the pass, defensive against the run, very close in ranking. Seattle's got the slight edge there on the run defense. The pass defense a little bit better for the for the Patriots here. Here's something interesting. Both of these are defensive-minded head coaches, but sharp offensive coordinators. They are second and third. Check this out, folks. I had to look this stuff up. They're second and third in points scored, and the whole league for the year. The Patriots were second. Seattle was third. There was a lot of games where the Patriots played some crappy teams and they blew them out. Tennessee was one of them, 35, 40-something points there. Slight edge to New England there on that. Pass rush in secondary with Drake May. Pat's O-line, I did make some notes here. They like I said, they struggled. We saw them struggle against Denver's defensive line. They will struggle. This O-line will struggle against that Seattle defensive line. Here's another tidbit. I don't remember a time when both quarterbacks had some kind of injury. Drake May's got a shoulder injury that they've been monitoring. We've been talking about Sam Darnold's oblique injury, but he played great in the last game. So he's getting a shot, I guess, before the game starts. And he kicked butt in that NFC Championship game against the Rams. It's last I checked, I sent you the text message of the screenshot. It's a 4.5-point spread. Hasn't really changed. Over and under is 45.5. Listen, a lot of people thinks maybe the Pats could get blown out. Colin Cowherd's saying because Seattle's favored like this, and everybody's calling for Seattle, that he thinks that the Patriots are going to be so coached up and so ready. Vrabel does have a tendency to get the guys play way up in these type of games, and he runs that up. He did it a lot with the Titans, But I'm buying into some of that. I am buying in. I don't think Seattle's going to blow them out, pending a bunch of special teams plays and defensive stuff. I think this is within that spread. I think New England will keep it within that spread of 4.5. So if you take the 4.5, you're going to be holding your breath on my score. 24-20 is the score that's been in my mind all week long. I like Seattle to win. I really hope. We just talked about Robert Kraft. I'm going to say this again. You probably heard my short clip there. I really hope the Patriots do find a way to win this for two different spite reasons. For one, I'd like to see Robert Kraft stick it back to the Hall of Fame voters. Hey, best revenge is I got another ring, baby. The bleep your Hall of Fame. And I'd like to see Mike Vrabel stick it to Amy Adams Strunk here in Tennessee, because she didn't want to do a deal. She didn't want to trade Tennessee Titans players to the Patriots to spite at the trade deadline. A report was because she didn't want to do any business with Mike Vrabel. Well, that annoys the crap out of me. So I love to see the Patriots win, but I'm calling 24-20. Seattle wins this game. What's your thoughts, man? I know it's a mouthful. Take your time, dude. Even though
no, man, you did a good job with the breakdowns. Always, doing your research. You're always on top of it.
I didn't realize how close they were in matchup. Yeah. Actually, I thought Seattle actually outranked them a lot worse.
Yeah, I think this matchup is like really great. As far as the numbers games that you just talked about.
Yeah.
If you're a football fan, you're gonna watch the game. You're gonna enjoy it. If you're a fanboy of a team, you're gonna be frustrated that your team's not there. You're gonna watch this and you're gonna be very annoyed anyways, because you're not gonna realize how these teams actually match up, and what they did to get there, and what they did to win. And this Seattle team, I've been talking about for the last 2 seasons. Remember, like their young defense, they're quick, and now they're more than formidable. They're still quick. They're still young. They have. I feel like they have
blossom. The flowers blossom.
Yeah, and you're right. They can stop the run. They struggle a little bit in the air, but they play catch up. And what I mean by that is like if they struggled the first half, they ain't struggling in the second half. They make very good transition and different changes in the games, and they do very well to in that way because their defensive coach, he does a great job in getting that team organized, and their defensive coaches.
You're talking about McDonald, right?
McDonald, on the Seattle side. So Seattle's front and middle are the keys to this game. Attacking, like you said, the Patriots on the left side of the line. That's where they're hurt the most.
Yeah. The short arms of Will Campbell may catch up with them again.
which is something that they know that Patriots are well aware of, and so that's going to be the main matchup, the key matchup there. You're right. The Patriots are better defense in the back end with Gonzalez.
That's funny, yeah.
First Colombian.
Nice.
Much love for the homeland here. First Colombian.
Didn't he go to Oregon? I think.
Yeah.
They've got some good players come out of Oregon here lately, man.
First Colombian Hispanic American to be in the Super Bowl. So
nice.
And then first Venezuelan to kick in the Super Bowl on the opposite side as a kicker. First Latino would be the Patriots kicker. So
nice.
two Latinos, and then you got the show.
That's the first ever.
South American.
Oh, South America. Okay. I thought Gramatica was a Spanish guy.
Yeah, his family, their family from Argentina.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So, but this is first Venezuelan from South America. So, heads up to them. Plus, there might be 2 or 3 other players that are Colombian in the league, or of Colombian descent, but these are the first 2 that are actual from Colombia and Venezuela, from Latin America. So, all right. Aside from the whole Latin thing,
that's all right, man.
So that's the Patriots in the air. They got a little bit better umbrella with and I do feel that Seattle will be able to break through that because they have a good core tight ends, and they got the guy who's ready to get back in the limelight, Mr. Cooper Kupp. He just got to make 2 or 3 plays. He's gonna
touchdown in that championship game.
Yeah, he's gonna be sprinkled in. I'm not saying he's gonna be the man. I'm just saying he's gonna be in there to make a few things, happen, because he does. They have plays for him. So, but he ain't the main guy. And then the two stars that you have to watch out for Seattle is Njigba and Junior and Smith Jr. These guys are fast, quick, and they can break the game open. Patriots do a decent job in the offense with Derek May. I'm not sure he'll be able to manage and play the short game in the air game, because that's going to be his bread and butter with Diggs. I'm not sure how long they can keep that up. I'm not saying I think that they're going to get a few numbers there in yardage and in stats, but I don't think they're going to score more than 14 points. I don't think they'll score more than 2 points. And I got this game at 27-17, and I got Seattle winning this game.
You got them win about 10.
Yeah.
Wow. That would really signify solidify their season, man. If they can win like that, that they would say they're really legit squad. They got the 1 seed, they got the bye week.
And my question to you, Robert, is if the Patriots play San Francisco and you see that score that was there, yo, man, the Seahawks, the first game they played against San Francisco was kind of close.
Yeah.
But then they came back and was like, we were actually a better team, and they played them even better and wiped the floor with them.
They wiped them out in Seattle. Yeah.
Right? So I was like,
the Patriots have not lost a road. But you know what? Seattle's been good on the road too.
Right.
Here's the thing. Seattle is familiar with that environment because they played there this year. Because that's in the Super Bowl will be at Santa Clara.
So that's why they're gonna be. They might not have coaching staff that been to Super Bowl before. They might not have, all this stuff that that the Patriots have.
That is a big edge. If you really think about it, Josh McDaniels, look how many Super Bowls he's coached in. And then Vrabel's played in. Vrabel's caught a touchdown as a defensive player.
Right. But they're not on the. But they're not on the this time. They're not on the field. Now they got to run these guys out, and these are young.
He could be overwhelmed. I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed, but because he's went through so many good defenses. And mind you, listen, there's a lot of second-year quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. Ironically, a former Patriot and a former Seahawk, both have, and I'm sure Brady's telling Drake May that. And then again, I don't know if there's really a connection. That ESPN people were giving Brady a lot of flack about, why didn't you say that you want those Patriots to win? Brady's like, hey, listen, I'm an analyst now, man. And I'm thinking, you know what? He didn't finish his career with them. He finished his career with Tampa.
Yeah.
So
he might have a little bit. He might have a little bit hard
feelings there. Yeah.
But another thing too is the other person that had won at a younger age would have been Ben Roethlisberger with the Steelers. So
yeah, he was a second-year quarterback. He was in the AFC Championship game as a rookie. Brett Roethlisberger. That was a stacked team that Roethlisberger came to.
So my thing is, I don't feel like the Patriots are a stacked team.
This would be what a turnaround, man. I don't remember ever a team finishing so far down to finish so far up.
Right.
You're picking fourth, and now you're going to be in the Super Bowl. And if you win the Super Bowl, that's just a whole different animal from getting to the Super Bowl. I want it to happen, dude. I want them Patriots to win so bad. Not as much as I love a Titans team, but I'd love to see the haters really come out. Although I do like Sam Darnold's story. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no. And then the funniest part would be that this would be something that they'd be able to do that they weren't able to do when they went in almost with the best record of football and then got beat by the Giants.
Yeah, and then
they went in and they got beat by the Giants the second time in round 2. So
that's true.
One of the best offensive teams.
Think about the Seattle fans. They felt like they probably should have beat the Patriots back in 2014 or whatever.
When they threw the ball instead of ran it.
They should have ran it with what's his guy's name? Marshawn Lynch. Yep. Versus that pass at the 1 yard line that got picked off by Malcolm Butler that ultimately won the Patriots the Super Bowl that year. Which I was so over that Seattle team. I really wanted actually the Patriots to win that game as well. Football's so different now. It's interesting the way this is going to play out. I hope it's not a blowout, but it could be.
These are two young teams. A few guys that are all-stars on both teams. But you're like, it's matchup is closer than people think it will be. So,
Colin Cowherd, he picked the 10 best players, and he says it's 6-4 Seattle. I thought it would be like 8-2, 7-3. 10 best players on the field. He picked, and it was like I said, it was 6-4 Seattle edge. Everybody knows Seattle's the better squad, player for player. And you start looking at guys like Gonzalez, Milton Williams, Drake May. He's probably going to finish second in MVP voting. You know, May's probably a better quarterback than Sam Darnold, wouldn't you say? Even though Darnold's got a great story and all, I think May's probably a bigger talent. If you look at his completion percentage, his QBR rating this year.
Right. So I will say this: neither quarterback is a top 10 quarterback.
Oh, easy. May's probably a top 10.
No, not. I won't,
top third of the league. Yeah,
I wouldn't put him in the top tiers of the quarterback for.
Oh, you said tier. I thought you said 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it out there for two reasons. This is just his second year, so you have nothing. You have nothing. Yeah, you don't really have much to go by, because even last year he didn't even get in every single game.
Oh, he was nothing last year.
Right. So then, like, most of the top tier quarterbacks, they've been in there for you give them at least 4 seasons, right?
Right.
And your top, right? So then, and then on top of that, that's the first reason that he didn't play that much even his first year. And this year he's had a great year. Okay, fine, he had a good year. And then even Darnold, if you and the second reason for May is that what he did, he's done stats. This is his first team, right? But he's also playing with the top rated defense. So he's been able to do that.
And he's got a rock star wide receiver right now. And
right. So that aside, so your defense is giving you an opportunity to score 3+ points every game because because of what they're doing.
Yeah.
On the flip side, you have Darnold, who's had struggled in the past in big games.
They're top 5 in both offense and defense, by the way, Seattle.
Yeah,
they really are a stacked team. I mean, they're a really good team. So
I feel like what he's accomplished, he's got years under his belt. Last year he did well in Minnesota. This year he does well, but he might crack up in the upper echelon. But he's not going to be he's not a top 5 quarterback. So I feel like in the next 2 seasons, whatever he does, that will
be considered to be a starter. Now he's made it as a franchise. Anything else to plug, man? We're way over.
Oh, I just I'm gonna send you a link if you want to play a box game, help raise funds for my son going to Orlando.
Okay.
Pokemon tournament coming up.
Okay.
We got to get it. You got to get it. And then just working on the baseball thing for this week or this weekend. So.
All right, Mad New Yorker, everybody, enjoy the Super Bowl here. All right, buddy. I appreciate you. Have a good one, man. Let me remove Mad New Yorker. All right, folks. I'll be back next week here on the Real Sports Scope. I'll probably give you an update show on Monday and Wednesday. I'm stewing around a few particular guests. Hopefully, I'll get a recorded interview with Rich Ferris and get his take on the Super Bowl and the Tennessee Titans hire. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place here on the Real Sports.